This real rap, please don't mistake it for luck. Where I come from, I'm already facing an odds. Only listen to two people, and that's Satan or God. My older brother used to tell me, don't play with the heart. It's when your mother used to tell you, go play in the yard. If I told my story, I'll go past the beat. Name me a big dog when I dare ask the beat. Remember when they used to say,
That got so bad, but who he's fighting? Who did he fight?
Jesse Magdaleno is
that guy's not as good as Lomachenko.
No, we're not gonna say that. But
and let's be for real, the Richard Comey, they both threw a punch.
His is connected clean. Yeah. And he probably just caught the momentum.
Not taking nothing away from him or Richard Comey.
Nah.
Because at the end of the day, like I always said, Teofimo's a hell of a fighter, a hell of a champion, and he won
and he's
everything.
From Brooklyn.
And he's from Brooklyn.
Stand
up, do your thing. But other than Richard Comey, what other fighter is better than Lomachenko that he fought?
Who even ranks to them? Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
I got you.
So the fight is a 50-50 in my hand because at the end of the day, you got a young guy that's hungry for not hungry just for the fame, but for the legacy of becoming he's the guy that beat Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? Him and his dad, and you got to give them props for that.
If this fight goes 12 rounds, who do you have winning it?
The guy that thinks better than him.
That's a good answer.
The guy that thinks better than the ring, that could play chess better.
Yeah, you're only as good as your last fight, so you can't say, well, nah.
Because the guy's not going to fight the same way twice.
Yeah. You're only as good as your last fight.
And you know who you're fighting now. You're fighting Teofimo Lopez, so you won't be careful of getting hit with any type of shot.
Yeah.
Like you got hit with a Linares.
Who do you think is more of a tactician?
More of a technician? But let's be for real. You don't get to go to the Olympics now if you're another boxer. Teofimo can box. We just been seeing the Teofimo that have been catching guys. He's quick and he be catching guys. But the guys that we've been watching boxing is the one that made two guys quit. That nobody thought they was going. No. But the two guys that he made quit was the two guys that anybody thought that could give him problems. Walters and Rigondeaux.
I thought that was gonna be a hell of a fight, and it turned out.
Rigondeaux was lost.
Like I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, this is a two-time gold medal.
So lost that Rigondeaux is no longer in the picture. He has to fight a different way for people to like him. When Lomachenko could fight the same way, and people gonna love him regardless of what, because he's a hell of a boxer. I just feel like this fight is 50-50. I can't wait for it.
I was going 70-30 Lomo, just because I think the experience, the pedigree that man brings is gonna be. He brings you into deep waters. If you don't touch him, man, he's gonna touch you. That's one thing he knows how to do, and he doesn't get hit very often.
I dig it. I believe in it too.
I think
but
70-30.
If you had your money to bet $10,000, who you bet on?
I'm still going 70-30 on Lomachenko.
Okay.
Experience, and Lomachenko hasn't, although he is, what is he, 35? He hasn't
34, 35.
He hasn't showed a sign of slowing down there, even after the shoulder injury. He hasn't showed that he's.
No, he had time to rest now and get that shoulder problem.
Whatever it was, if it was a little tweak from the.
Because it don't look like he got nothing wrong because he hitting that bag hard as hell.
This is what I'm saying. It doesn't look like he's slowing down yet. That's why I'm getting.
And that's another guy that's fighting for legacy.
400 plus.
And that's another guy that's fighting for legacy because you heard what he did. I heard that. I just quoted him what happened. I heard about it that I think it was 1.2 for Teofimo and the rest. He gave Teofimo some money made sure they give him more so the fight could go. So that could play a lot, man. This guy really wants to fight, and he's
making them give me more money. Yeah.
Like, think about that. You got to be very careful. This guy I think this is the type of guy that likes competition. I think Lomo likes competition because both fights when he fought Walters and he fought Rigondeaux, he never shied away from. I want to fight these guys.
But hold on, let's talk about it real quick. Do you know how good Orlando Salido was? He has losses on his record. Don't look at that record.
No, you got like 13 losses.
Orlando Salido was a warrior, a world champion, and a veteran. No pumpkin in there, Kane. If you didn't have
what Hall of Famer, a valid Hall of Famer.
If you didn't have what it took to beat Salido,
you was getting beat up.
You was gonna get beat up that day. He went in there, he got a little roughed up, but he almost stopped Salido in that 12th round, and he went 12 rounds with Salido in his second.
And we forget it. Gary
I was
Russell.
about to say, he beat Gary Russell convincingly.
Bad.
Who beat Gary Russell convincingly in his career, amateur or pros? Nobody beat
His
Gary
name is
Russell.
Lomachenko.
Only Lomachenko.
So to even beat Gary Russell,
Look,
he made Gary Russell.
I was about to say, wait, that last round, it didn't look like Gary Russell was gonna make it out that last round.
I believe that he let him out. He let him.
I thought he was gonna stop Gary Russell, man.
Wow.
Lomachenko is the real.
So that fight can't wait for it.
This is why I'm saying 7. That's why I say 7-3.
You got a good point. I'm going with the 50-50.
I like
But you got a good point.
that.
You got a good point. And I like that. But I'm going 50-50 because I like Teofimo. I like Lomachenko.
From Brooklyn,
They're from Brooklyn, so
I'm gonna go for you regardless.
Regardless, Brooklyn boy, do your thing.
Feel me, but I just think you're going in there with
You
the
from
real
New
thing.
York, so do your thing, bro. And
Yeah.
let's talk about these. There's 3 prospects that me and you had in mind to talk about.
I want to talk about these guys, man. We had a lot of good fights that happened over the last month, man. Thank God, thank PBC, the Zone. They've been keeping busy with the fights. They're getting fighters
And
contracts.
top rank.
Top rank. They're getting guys fights, and they're giving the public something to have to look forward
for young guys that are coming up. Two are top ranked fighters. And I think one is PBC.
Who's PBC? Oh, Joey
I think
Spencer.
Joey Spencer.
Joey Spencer. Let's start with Joey Spencer, man, because you said something to me, and I didn't understand it at first, and then I thought about it, and I said, all right, I think I understand what you're saying. So when you watch Joey Spencer fight, hell of a fighter, man, he throws a lot of power punches. He said to me, and I was like, I didn't understand it at first. He said, yo, I think Joey Spencer fights like a power puncher, but probably doesn't have the real pop in his punch that he should have. Now, I want you to elaborate on that, because talk to the fans about what a power puncher is versus someone who moves and fights like a power puncher but doesn't really have that pop.
There's guys that Joey Spencer, great fighter, great young fighter, great upcoming young fighter. But he fights, everybody would think, from outside looking in would be like, oh, he pops, he hits hard. Because he dropped some of the guys and he stopped. I think his last 2 fights, it was like, he stopped 1 and stopped 2.
Sean West 2.
Yeah. So he's a great upcoming young fighter. I think he's a hell of a prospect. But I just don't think he got that pop that everybody thinking. So he has the skills. If he implements his skills with that and don't go looking out for the knockouts, I think the knockouts will come even quicker. But since he's looking out for the knockouts from the first round, then first round don't happen, second round don't happen, third round don't happen. You gotta change the game plan. You gotta go for more boxing and stuff like that. I think he should change the game plan from the beginning. Go to box, but in there, mix those power punching with those boxing, and when you can't see, it's gonna hurt you.
Yeah, that one's gonna come.
You know what I'm saying? So I think he's gonna get it. He's young, by the way. They're gonna bring him little by little. He's gonna get it. I think he has a great future. I think he fights at 154.
Yeah.
So I think he has a great future. 154 always been a premier weight class in boxing.
Yeah.
I think he has a future in that. That's one of the young men I'm looking forward to seeing more. But he has to slow down in that power punching category and look for more boxing because he has the skills.
What do you think about Elvin Rodriguez?
Elvis.
Yo, man, he had a bad knockout last week, man. It was bad. I was like, man.
This guy is from Santo Domingo. Man, 140. Big.
9-0.
9-0 and 9 KOs. Wow.
Bad KOs too. None of them like touch KOs where reps.
Where boxing is that right now, you don't need 25 fights to win go for a championship. If I think that kid do 3 more fights, and maybe the last 2 is a like little test, and he passing with flying colors. Hey, Ramirez, Josh Taylor, all in top 140. Beware, he's coming.
What do you think? Now you said
He's hungry.
Ramirez is a beast, man. Do you think this? You know, it's hard to tell because his fight was only a 6th rounder. Do you think these guys show the potential to be something great in the sport?
At the weight class that they're in and the way they're going, the way they're being managed and the skills, I think some of them got it easier than some other guys in weight classes.
Okay.
I think Joey Spencer at 154, the king of 154 right now, is Jermel Charlo.
For sure.
The second one to that is the guy that he's fighting, which whoever wins is the king, Rosario, Bernardo Rosario, right? And then you got other guys in 154 like that was champion that beat Lara. What's his name? Swift Jared Hurd.
Oh.
You got a lot of guys.
Yeah,
You got Harrison Lubin.
Yo, there's a lot of guys.
You got a lot of guys at 154.
Yeah,
So Joey,
there's a lot of
but Joey, young age, has enough time to even
to
get there. And by the time he get there, these guys already been there so long that maybe on the way out. But the same thing with Elvis Rodriguez at 140. But the way he's going so much right now, if you get 3 more fights and he go flying color, you got to give him a shot like you're giving everybody else a shot.
You figured Teofimo only had 14 before he got his shot.
Yeah, and Teofimo was called this and that, so the young man is doing the same thing Teofimo was doing.
Yeah. What about, now when you compare, because you got a 9-0 KO streak with Elvin Rodriguez, and you got Edward Berlanga, New York.
Edgar Berlanga, his road is going to be a little harder. And the reason his road going to be a little harder, at the weight class he fights, 168, there's some competition there. Not saying the young man can't handle them, because he can handle them now, whatever. It's just that he has to take a different approach to his career and slow it down a little more and take it step by step, because at the end of the day, there's some beasts up there, and he's a beast himself. And I think this young man has all the skill to be a world champion. Whenever he wants to be a world champion, he is going to be a world champion. He's trained by some good people. Uncle Dre, Andre Rossier. He's trained with Gary Starks, Senior, and he has a good camp. He's trained. He's one of the stablemates of Sergey Derenchenko, the technician that's fighting Jamal Charles. So you are getting all these work with these guys, and they preparing him little by little. And he's a young man, 23, 24. I want him to stay 23, 24, and he has the skills and the limit to get to the top to fight any of them guys. David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, all them guys are the top dogs up there. He's gonna be one of them top dogs sooner or later. He's gonna get there. Those three prospects right now, I'm very intrigued, because those guys, they can really fight. They really taking a step. That 14 and 14, I don't think Berlanga even worry about that 14 and 14. If a guy lasts in 2 rounds, he don't care. It's about winning.
He talked about it. He said he isn't even going there. He gets his punch.
He gets his punch. And if he gets it, he gets it. Yeah. But it's about winning. So he puts in the work to win. And him and Uncle Dre and them guys, they're not looking for them knockout shot. They looking to just win. They get this win, whatever way it is. You know what I'm saying? But those 3 guys, those are
the prospects I was looking at what we were talking about, and I think you got to keep an eye on them. They might become one, if not all of them, are going to become the face of boxing, or a premier name in boxing, I think, in the next 4 or 5 years.
Yes, and that's 4 or 5 years when these guys will be talked about.
100%. All right, so we had some real interesting we had some more fights. We're going to talk about it. Let's just do a recap for the month, or I think at least the notable fights that I think need to be talked about, you know what I mean? We talked about Joey Spencer, Sean West. We talked about Elvin Rodriguez. He got the stop against Cody Wilson. Yo, they're talking about, I'm hearing, Terrence Crawford versus Kell Brooks. What you think about that? Before we even get to the summary of what happened in the last month. What you think about that?
Okay.
You think it's gonna happen? And what do you think is gonna happen?
If it do happen, I think this guy haven't fought in a long time. Kell Brooks.
Yeah.
I think Terrence Crawford is he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world right now, bro. If it's not him, it's Canelo. If it's not Canelo, it's him or Lomachenko. It's not 3 dogs. And Terrence Crawford, time and time, he proved when we try to put him the test there that he's the best and no one can mess with him. Right?
Every time.
That Omaha boy is great.
Every time.
But Kell Brooks got to be given props too. He answers the call to whatever fight. He wants that fight. He wants that smoke or whoever. And if that fight come, I give that fight a 70-30. Crawford 70. I might even give it 80-20. Crawford size. Why? Because Crawford is the more skillful 147 to me.
Skillful.
Skillful. I think he has so much skills that I seen him do things in fight that if you're not into boxing, you won't catch on to it.
Yeah, you just won't catch.
You won't catch on to it. Nothing amazing, just things that he does. Remember he fought this guy named Puerto Rican guy, and the round before he knocked him out, the bell rung, and he came back to the corner and told his trainer, "I saw him."
Oh, you saw what the trainer already said?
No. He said, "I saw it." The trainer like, "Oh, you." Well, he told the trainer before.
Oh,
the trainer even
so
spoke.
he had to say it. Yeah, I already know what you were saying. So,
And I saw it too. I said, "Knockout." That's round. And he
Cool.
knocked him out. I said, I told my cousin, I said, "Knockout." Knockout came. Because I saw what he was looking at. But you gotta be into boxing.
Really understand how.
And the guy is amazing. I think one of the best 147. Not taking nothing away from El Spence. Not taking away nothing from Sean Porter. Not taking away nothing from Keith Thurman, Pacquiao, and all these other guys that are 147. With Dennis Crawford, as that fight do come, it'll be a good fight for boxing. I just don't think that Kell Brooks has enough to beat Crawford. Now,
I think
Kell Brooks,
yeah,
it's socket. But I'm gonna tell you something. Kell Brooks is a dog, though.
No,
he's a dog.
yeah. You gotta beat him.
You gotta beat him to beat him.
You gotta
know
beat
what I'm
him to
saying?
beat him.
So he's a dog. That fight will be good.
That's definitely
I would wait for that fight if it do happen.
Fantasy fight match real quick, just because you threw it out there. Terrence Crawford, a prime Manny Pacquiao. Ooh.